Well, we continue our coverage of the acquittal of former President Donald Trump. The Senate did not reach the two-thirds majority needed to impeach the former president. And joining us now with analysis of the trial proceedings and what happens next is Assistant Professor of Political Science at McDaniel College, Matthew Mongiello. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So really, this trial took just under a week, and with the lack of two-thirds majority, this really wasn't a surprise that they didn't convict the president or impeach him. Really, that they made the acquittal.
No, it certainly wasn't a surprise. In fact, I was surprised that the votes for conviction got up to 57. I was expecting something like 54, and the fact that 7 Republican senators did break away from the majority of the party was pretty significant, I thought.
So what do you think about what Senator Mitch McConnell had to say following that basically in so many words that this isn't over yet?
I mean, it was pretty startling. It was pretty amazing. 20 minutes essentially saying that although he voted for acquittal, he did believe that the president was essentially guilty of everything that the House managers put forth, but needed to be acquitted on a technicality that the Senate, in his view, could not constitutionally try a president who was no longer in office. And so it was pretty harsh. It, essentially means that there are more than those 7 votes who believe that the former president was guilty.
We just heard from Maíxa Díaz in our Washington bureau talking about that the senator basically said he could still be held liable. So can criminal charges be brought against him, or is that an empty threat?
Yeah, so criminal charges in terms of incitement. I thought this was maybe the one tiny weak part of the House manager's case, though not necessarily related to impeachment. I thought that our own Representative Jamie Raskin did an amazing job. Maryland's Jamie Raskin, my own representative. But the idea that what Trump did constituted criminal incitement under the First Amendment, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. Of course, the standard for impeaching is not based on criminal law and criminal protections. But I do think that the president is open to prosecution for tax fraud and other kinds of crimes that don't have to do with this impeachment.
So by failing to acquit, it does pave the way for the president to run for future office. And he released a statement yesterday following the verdict and says that the journey has just begun. So what's your takeaway from that?
Yeah, some of my colleagues are already saying, the fact that he held 43 senators puts him as the front runner for 2024. And I suppose that has to be the case because you can't say who would be a more likely candidate. But I think he was deeply damaged. And I think that this is a real split in the Republican Party. I think that Mitch McConnell really did throw down a gauntlet and give his members and the broader Republican Party permission to deviate and try to pull the party back from Trump. So that it really is the big question is, will this remain President Trump's party going forward?
All right, Professor Mongiello, thanks so much for joining us this morning from McDaniel College.
Great, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, and stay with us.